Hi everybody, it's Jenny again. Today I just want to focus in on one more technique for building strength in the wrists as well as into the hands. This is actually a technique that I learned from a physical therapist who usually gives this technique to people who are suffering with a bit of carpal tunnel syndrome. So whether or not that speaks to you is a whole different thing. I've implemented it, my teachers have implemented it into our practices pretty routinely to build strength into the wrists, into the hands, into the forearms. So that way things like chaturanga, which is the transition of high push-up into the low push-up, or things like arm balances like crow pose, crane pose, side crow, and anything else become a little bit easier. So your hands, your wrists don't feel so much of the strain. Really important to have that solid foundation, opening across the fingers as always, and just really bringing awareness to the hands. But here's the technique that I learned from my physical therapist friend. So the idea here is to create one hand, bring the fingertips together, and then we're going to take the other hand and close it around the first hand. And then we're going to take the inside fingers and push open as hard as we can, and take the outside fingers and push in as hard as we can. And then with this action of pushing and pushing each other, pushing all 10 fingers into each other, we're going to start to create this kind of pulsing sensation. So letting those inner fingers win a little bit, and then letting the outer fingers win a little bit, and just really getting into this sense of opposition as you pulse. Okay? Now you might start to really feel some burning happening, which hopefully is a good thing, all the way down into the forearm and into the wrist. And when that starts to happen, it might grow fatigued. You're going to want to stop and take a little bit of stretch and mobility before switching sides. Okay, so again, close the opposite fingers and other fingers around, and again just starting to pulse back and forth in this way. And usually I'll take about 5 to 10 rounds of breath, just very slow, even ujjayi breaths here, just to really get into the strength of my wrists, into my forearms, into my hands. Really allow the fingers, the inner fingers to win, the outer fingers to win, and keep pulsing in this way. And when you're finally feeling a little fatigued, you can stop, stretch it out, make some movements, and then go about your practice. So if at any time your wrists are feeling tender or sore from your practice, I recommend that particular technique, and absolutely moving afterwards into a bit of flexibility, a little bit of stretching for the wrists and for the fingers and for the hands. And if you practice this a couple of times a week in addition to your asana practice, your wrists will thank you. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.